Do it this time, we got to blow it up, make it bigger than we've done before.
You're going to feel loved and cared about.
I need to be motivated because it can beat you down. The industry can beat you down.
Be around people that care about you, that want to see you succeed, that actually value you. On today's show, we're going to interview Jason Creel from the Lawn Care Life channel. He is crushing it on YouTube, and he has been in the lawn business, the fertilization and weed control business for a quite long time. So welcome back to the program, Jason.
Thanks, Paul. Always glad to be a guest. I don't know about crushing it, but I've just been on there a long time. You shared the turtle and the hare story earlier. We don't usually share those kind of stories, but Paul brought up turtle and the hare. I think it's more of a persistence rather than a race for me. But yeah, glad to be on the show.
It's a great story. So we're here in Jason's home in beautiful Trussville, Alabama. He has such a beautiful acreage here, and so we've been hanging out making some videos, but we have some big news to share with everyone.
Yeah, so I've done the Lawn Care Life conference in the past. So I wouldn't call it annual. I said, well, I did one in 2017, I did one in 2018, I did one in 2020, and now we're doing one in 2024. So took a 4-year break, but we're bringing it back, and Paul is coming into the conference as a conference partner, we'd say, and looking forward to that. But it's going to be February 23rd, 24th of 2024 here near my home in Alabama, about 30 minutes outside of Birmingham. So really looking forward to doing it. And I think, if we do it this time, we got to blow it up, make it bigger than we've done before.
Yeah, and you guys did an incredible job in 2020. I was there. My friend Felipe, from Atlanta, I said, hey, there's this event I want to go to in Alabama. He watched you, and he was just starting his fertilization and weed control business. And I was in lawn maintenance at the time. So we carpooled together. We came, had a phenomenal time. It was actually very influential for our Green Industry podcast listeners because I met Megan and Joey Coberly. They were some of the sponsors. They were there. And I was so impressed with them. I hired them shortly after as my personal bookkeepers. And now they serve close to 40 of our listeners.
Freak out because we did January 2020. It was planned ahead of that. It wasn't like people think in Alabama that during the middle of the pandemic we were all just kept on going to football games and stuff. No, it was before the pandemic was official big news, so we were good on that end.
Yeah, and I had an awesome time. I go to events all the time, but there was something family-centric and unique about this, and part of it was because of the venue. The venue is your family has like a wedding venue where you got you can tell about it.
Yeah, my family has a wedding venue. They probably have close to 100 acres, and they've got multiple sites where they can actually have 3 weddings going on at the same time. They do a lot of weddings throughout the year, and they we pay to rent the facility, and so we've already booked it. I told them, I said, I don't want any favors. I'm booking this place just like I was doing a wedding here. Of course, we're not doing a wedding, but they've got a lot of land. What's good about that is we've been able to have equipment out there, have people demo equipment, all that. So that's where we're going to be back out there. It's called Mathews Manor in Springville, Alabama, but we have limited capacity for 300, which is more than we've had in the past, but I feel like we're going to be able to pack it out hopefully this time.
Yeah, for sure. We wanted to give you guys a heads up about this event because a lot of times there's events, they'll rent out like a ballroom at a hotel, and let's say they'll say, yeah, we have capacity for 300, but the truth is, let's say 300 people register. Well, what they can do is they can knock the wall down because there's like these wall dividers in those ballrooms, and then you can buy the room over, and now you can have a 500-seat event. When Jason says 300, it's the fire marshal is going to come. There's no room for expansion. So we're letting people know early and often. It's kind of an Ohio State. That's our running attack. Early and often. We want to let you guys know about this so you can plan it. You can get it on your schedule. You can get registered. You can get locked in for this event. So when we say 300, it's a hard stop on that. But I want you to go ahead and share this all-star lineup of speakers you're bringing in.
So Paul and I are hosting the event, and Paul's very good in that capacity. If you ever seen him just on the mic in front of a crowd, so we brought him in, and so we'll be there. And then I've got Caleb and Brittany Allman coming. If you guys probably seen them, if you follow them, Allman Landscapes up in Ohio, and they've got a lot of experience just with landscaping. And Caleb I don't think he minds share. It's pretty public. He bankrupted his company, and now they've started and are doing a lot more successful, and they work together a lot in their business. We got a friend of ours, his name's Jeremy Vest. He's like a social media guru, and one of the things he is very good at in social media is he is able to use social media to help small businesses. I mean, I met him years ago. He's like, "Oh, that's my jam," or something. The way he described it was like, how do you use social media to grow your business? Alan Hain, the lawn care nut, he told me, and I don't know if this is true, and I know Alan has spoken at Google 2 times. He's very smart when it comes to marketing and business and experience in lawn care. But he told me if the lawn care comes, he said that mine is the only one he comes to. I don't know why that is. But he said he likes the people, he likes the kind of family atmosphere, and I reached out to him again. He said, I'm there to support you. So Alan Hain's coming again. We got Naylor Taliaferro.
Yeah, the lawn care rookie. Naylor Taliaferro.
Naylor Taliaferro. And, what I like about Naylor is he's just very down to earth, easy. He's very good with people, and he'll be able to share his story. He goes by the lawn care rookie name, and he still is very transparent as far as what he's doing in his business. So he's coming. Am I leaving anybody out?
We got Alan Hain, that's our headliner, Big Fish. Kaylin Brittany. We have Naylor, Jeremy. We have Jason's going to be, participating. Jeremiah Jennings is a local Trustville, so he'll have a role, some capacity. I was talking to him last night, and I just asked him. I said, Jeremiah, what would be your wheelhouse? Like, what do you think? So we're still figuring that out, and it's going to be a great time. So I thoroughly enjoyed it as an attendee in 2020. And if you would have told me then that Jason would invite me to be a part of this, I'm deeply humbled, and I want it to be a huge success. That's why I'm letting y'all know now, so that you can get registered, so we can start getting momentum on the event, and hopefully get it sold out at the 300 fast as possible. That'd be great.
Yeah, and I've done these in the past. Like the first one we did was like a 1-day event, and then people say, "Oh, you should do a 2-day event." So I think we did a 2-day event the next time. Then I was like, then I had like a 1-day option and a 2-day option the third time. It gets confusing. Some people think, I wish it was longer. Some people wish it was shorter. So this year what we're doing, it's going to be, it's a Friday and Saturday. So we're going to do Friday evening, have like one session on Friday evening, a dinner and a after party kind of deal. And then Saturday, we'll get going in the morning, probably up till about 4 o'clock. So we'll have a lot of the speakers lined up there. We're still working on the sponsorships and things like that, but really trying to elevate the level of the event this year. And all the meals are included with the deal. So Friday night dinner, breakfast, snacks, drinks, and lunch on Saturday, and then we'll probably be dismissed before dinner on Saturday. So we feel like, I feel like putting it together, I think it's a pretty good value, and it's not so much about just crushing it on ticket sales, but about having a great atmosphere, a lot of people, and having a positive event.
Yeah, and this is a perfect gateway for me, Jason, because for a while people have been nudging me like, you should have an event, you should have an event, you should have an event. And I've always thought about it because I lived in Atlanta for almost 15 years, and that's like a really convenient spot to come to because there's direct flights from anywhere pretty much in the world to Atlanta. But I'm moving, and so number one, that was an issue. But I've always had a desire in my heart to have an event, but I never wanted to step on anyone's toes because it's like Equips in October, and I attend that and support that show. And then my buddy Brian has an event in November, and I usually attend that and support Brian's show. Then December, you don't have events because it's family time. And then I'm thinking through, I don't even know when I would have an event because all my friends are having events. So with you asking me to have this, I'm deeply humbled, and this is the first event that I'm hosting, throwing the party with you in a way. So it's a perfect situation. It's a small town. Well, Jason resides in Trustville. The event's actually in Springville, which is like 14 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's just down the road. But I'm very thankful for this opportunity, guys, and I really want to support Jason and make this thing a huge success. So we do ask, if you are going to come, save the date, get registered now, get all that stuff taken care of so we can start really finalizing all the event and have everything kind of signed, sealed, and delivered.
Should I tell them the price, or is that secret?
Well, it's not a secret. This is where we disagree. Jason is beyond reasonable and fair with this price, and I'm not going to push him on that because I'm aware of other events and what their prices are, and we're we're 25% the price of what a event with a similar structure. I showed you the other day my friend's event up in Ohio.
I thought we had agreed on the price. And
we agreed because I didn't want to. I'm not gonna come in and say it's the biggest value in the industry. You can tell the price, and it's way lower than it should be.
Well, right now, and I think this is what it's going to be unless we decide we're going to end up in the red. But it's $197. Okay, and again, that includes your meals, the party, all the sessions. It doesn't include your lodging. If you're coming, you can stay in a local hotel or find an Airbnb or something like that. But $197 with all the meals, I think, is pretty reasonable. And there's 10% off coupons. Like if you use Paul's code of Paul10, you get 10% off. My code is, I think, Creel10 or whatever. I don't know. There's codes so you get 10% off if you bring more than one person. Like if 2 or more people will get 10% off. So I mean, it can be very reasonable. For me, it's about like the last events I think were great. We got great feedback, testimonials, had big time speakers and stuff, and the feedback was just unbelievable. But I'm like, how can we triple the size? Because in the past we'd have 100 to 150 people or so, and it was awesome. But I'm like, if we could maybe double the size, triple, but we get 300 people in there, right sponsored, and really carry it to another level as far as the professionalism of the event, but without losing the kind of family atmosphere and the transparency and interacting with everybody. We just all sitting around the table eating together and hanging out. And then, of course, we got the speakers, got rooms to ride equipment. I'm not talking about getting out in the parking lot and doing a donut with a lawnmower. I'm talking about acreage to get out there and ride the equipment.
Fantastic. Well, Mr. Producer is going to put in the show description the link to register. I'm going to still argue with Jason and Tracy and try to get them to raise the price. But if I don't, and you can get that deal, get signed up while the price is still that, because that is a phenomenal, huge, reasonable deal. I was just showing you. Well, anyway, we're not going to sit here and fight on my podcast. Jason is a very generous man, and that's an incredible deal. The value is worth a lot more than that. But anyway, we're going to leave that alone. And Naylor's going to be there, and Alan, and Caleb, and Brittany, and Jeremiah, and obviously Jason and Tracy and myself and Jeremy and the gang, and just sitting at a table and enjoying meals with one another. And of course, I'm going to be planning on being there podcasting and things of that nature. It's just a great time. So it's February 23rd, 24th in Trussville, Alabama. Once it's sold out, it's sold out. We can't. I guess we could get a bulldozer and knock over a wall and build another room, but we ain't going to do that. So, you have your shot now as we're announcing this, and you can click on the link in today's show notes and get registered. So is there anything I'm leaving out here, Jason?
I don't. You can register on my website, lawncarelife.com, and there's a link that says conference, and just click on that. And of course, Paul's going to have it on his website at some point. So it shouldn't be hard to find. But like I said, we're still months away, but we're preparing early because we're planning on a big event.
Awesome. Well, what's the value proposition of the event? Like if someone comes and they're driving home, we've already talked about they're going to have the family. You're going to feel loved and cared about. And like I've been to an event before where Caleb Allman, there's a guy named, I'm not going to say his name, but he was sitting over off to the side, and Caleb was mad. And he's like, hey, come on, guys. And he's like, hey, come over here. And he sat down and he had dinner with us. So like that's the kind of heart of a community where the people leading it want you to feel like you're a part of a family. And Jason and Tracy, I love coming out to their house because I feel like I'm Uncle Paul, like a part of the family. And so that alone is worth it, to come and be around people that care about you, that want to see you succeed, that actually value you and want to encourage you and support you. But in addition to that, which is definitely going to be there, what else can they expect? And like, what are some of the themes?
Well, I'll put this in a little bit of story format. I don't talk about this a whole lot because I don't know if I'm embarrassed about it or proud of it. But one time, this was about 6 years ago, I spent $2,500 to go to an event. And I've bought cars for less than that. Okay, so I don't just do that very often. But I actually thought that the value was there. It was for a limited number of people, like 20 people, and I thought, I really feel like the ROI is going to pay for it, and so that was for me. And again, I don't like getting a cheese dip at the Mexican restaurant because I don't want to pay for it, so, but for me, I thought this is going to change some things in my life. Well, it actually did. It didn't necessarily overnight, but I think it was actually good value looking back. Well, for this, talking about value proposition, yeah, interacting with people and all that, but like, for instance, I'm not big on psychology a whole lot, but I'm actually more into it than I used to be. Meaning, like, I need to be motivated because it can beat you down. The industry can beat you down. And sometimes, I don't know if you guys do this, but like, I would sit out there and be like, this guy's making a lot of money and I'm not, or he is, and this person's not. So like, what's going on? Why are they doing it? And yet people continue doing the same thing. You know, the whole definition of insanity, but like doing the same thing every year, and at the end of the year, like, I'm so tired, this is terrible, and the same old, it sure is hot, and I can't believe it, can't find no good help, and all the same old mess we always hear. And at some point, it's like, you got to do something different. I mean, like, just, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just look at the person that's being successful and just, like, copy them. I mean, you can't, like, steal their truck and logo, but, I mean, just, like, what is their model, and why am I continuing to do this? Like, I mean, I talk about the weed control stuff all the time. Like, when I started spraying weeds, I was like, okay, this is make more money for less work. I think this is a good plan. And so that's what I do. And I'm not saying you got to do that, whether you're mowing grass or whatever, but just kind of find a better formula. But sometimes, I don't know what it is, but you just you order the same lousy meal off the menu until somebody encourages you to get the other thing, and you're like, man, why didn't I order this before? Because you just didn't know better. You had to have somebody nudge you along. So I think a lot of it is like motivation.
Fantastic. You're going to get motivation. You're going to get community. You're going to get so much more with Alan and his expertise on marketing, and Caleb and Brittany on their expertise of communication. Of course, Naylor with route density and how to be efficient in your operation. Jeremy on marketing. And, you know, Jason and Jeremiah and myself. We're all going to bring our A game, but we want to see you there, and, you know, that you put it on your calendar now. So thanks for watching today's video, y'all. I really appreciate it. And Jason and I, you're talking about this cheese dip at Mexican restaurant. You got me hungry. We're going to go meet Jeremiah Jennings for lunch, and I'll buy your lunch, so you don't have to be worried about what you get, Jason.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
Thanks for having me. So thanks for watching, y'all.